Hey everybody, it's Michael B. I am so freaking tired today. It's been a long day, but I did something very, very cool today, something that I've been waiting my whole life to do about my first real pinball table. So we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. Also, if you've been following my channel for the last little while, I've actually done some mods to some of my Arcade OneUps. Like I did a screen mod on my Pac-Mania cabinet. I did the Big Buck Hunter light up marquee mod. So what's going on? Am I a completely different person? If you've been watching my channel, I haven't really been covering Arcade One Up news. I've been making different kinds of videos. I guess the times they are changing, or maybe they're not. For the last little while, y'all thought I was a pinball table. Anyways, happy Monday night, everybody. Tonight we're gonna have a fun show. Just want to tell you guys about some cool things I've been doing recently and kind of how my interests have changed a little bit and why they've changed and how they're going to change going forward. So hopefully you guys enjoy the conversation. This should be a fun, positive show or negative. We'll see how things go. Anyways, thank you so much for hanging out. This is Chill and Chat with Michael B. What's happening, B Kong?
Yo, what's going on? I heard that you became a pinball table. Is that what it is? Like you
I
had
gotta
all your
stop saying that. Yeah, I'm
you
a
had
pinball channel. I'm a pinball channel. That's what it is.
your pinball channel and
Pinball
you got
machine channel.
and so you had all sorts of things that you said in that intro, but it's good. It's nice and hyped to see the chat that's excited for the pictures you posted. So for folks that didn't see the pictures, I mean, you got to explain what happened, right?
Yeah, so I can pull that up on screen right now, show everybody. I guess so. If you haven't been following my channel for the last little while, I had an opportunity to actually buy a real pinball, real pinball, buy a real arcade, my first arcade. So stuff never comes up here. You guys have heard me talk about this several times before. Nothing comes up in Newfoundland. Well, sure enough, the last little while, there was a for sale post on the local ads, and a guy was selling a honest to God Tron. And I was like, well, I'm not going to let this one go. So it was $2,500 Canadian, which works out to $1,900 US. I don't know how much these usually sell for. Some people told me as much as like 3,700 US, usually in this kind of shape. So it's pretty excited. If I'm going to get my first arcade, might as well get one I'm really excited about and an absolute piece of arcade history. B, you know how much I like Tron. You
Yeah.
like Tron? What do you think of this machine, man?
It's gorgeous. It is one of the better looking at cabinet designs. Oh, look at that mug face,
I
looking all
know.
smug
Look how
and things.
happy he is.
So happy, like he
So
just got out of
smudge.
bed and had a good time. Maybe smoked a cigarette and is like, I feel satisfied what I just did. I feel really satisfied. And yeah, I remember the first time I saw a full size Tron in real life, and I was like, it's a lot of depth to the cabinet, right? It's hard
Yeah.
to replicate that in even the home arcade version. That I still enjoy that version of it, but yeah, that one looks like it's in great shape. So, what's the condition? Is there anything wrong with it? Is there any nicks, scuffs, paint marks, things?
Yeah, so there's a little bit of work I'm gonna have to do to it. I'm not in a rush, but
Mhm,
the side panel art can use some touching up. So I'm gonna take a look at getting a side panel
mhm,
kit.
mhm,
The guy kept mentioning Phoenix Arcades to me. I've never heard of Phoenix Arcades before. I mean, like
mhm,
basically everybody knows that here in the home arcade space, whenever we talk about arcades, we always talk about Joe Zabo. So if I was
mhm,
going anywhere, probably talk
mhm.
to Joe Zabo first. But he said Phoenix Arcade have a full kit, sides, and then control panel. So it's basically just an art kit. If I got an art kit and then redid the T molding, I'm pretty much good to go.
Yeah, nice. You are totally not a pinball channel. You are totally a full size diva now. That is the new
That's
thing.
right. Real
Yes.
arcade shit.
Real arcade shit. So have you enjoyed it at all? Did you get to play a few games? Put your high score on the cabinet?
Oh well, actually, my my high score is not very good. The guy I bought it from, he was there talking about it, and he was like, "Have you ever bought a real arcade before?" And I was like, "No." And I was like, "I'm about to school him. Watch till I put up like my awesome Tron score." And then he starts playing, and I'm like, "Oh, he's already on like the fourth and fifth wave. Won't
Yeah,
be beating him."
won't be doing that. Nice need to unplug it and get my high score on. So yeah, it's cool. I like it. I dig it. I dig it. I dig it. It's really cool.
$1.99 super chat here from Console Fanboy. Mike, didn't you get the memo? Home arcade is dead. I know, Console Fanboy. That's why I've got a real pinball machine and a real arcade. Home arcade's dead, but real arcade and pinball, it's here to stay.
I agree at some level because I am getting my own pinball machine coming very soon this week too. So, I mean, you asked for guests to come on and just talk about it. I was like, oh, I guess it
Yep.
kind of makes sense. I'm getting my Foo Fighters Premium finally delivered to my house. My first new in-box pinball machine will be coming home, and I'll be making space for it as well. I did also, I forget, because I have full-size arcades myself in my garage that I never really did content on. And part of the reasons why I never made content on it is because like I got them for cheap and they all needed work, and I just never got to that phase of like I'm modding all my crap in my home arcade space, but then I have to go to my garage and get these big machines working, and those ones still scare me a little bit. So are you up for the challenge of owning, real arcade hardware if it breaks down and moving
No,
it around
I
and all that
totally
stuff
am
yet?
scared
Like,
to death.
because all those were all the reasons why you said you loved the 3/4 scale
Well,
stuff.
no,
You
I like the
defended the
3/4
home
scale
arcade,
because
yeah, for so long. Like, there's so many reasons to own these
no, no,
smaller
no.
ones till I get in.
My biggest reason was just there's nothing here. Like I've showed
Mhm,
people, I've done this stream before where I showed people like our buy and sell ads, and I'm like, everything is in such rough shape. People want so much money for it. It was mostly availability for me, right? But
mhm.
a couple super chats here I want to get to really quick. $2 super chat from Stringer Films. Got all my old toys from my parents' house this weekend. I love doing that. I've got pretty much everything home now. I've got to do a video on my Dick Tracy toys before P Dubs can do his Dick Tracy toy video. We'll stick it
Nice,
to him.
nice.
And Tyler V says, $1.99 super chat. Congrats. Love it, but replayability is going to suck. No, not at all. I actually loved my Tron Arcade OneUp, so I have no concerns in that category. Tron for me, score chaser, tons of replayability. I do have the blank RGT 85. The only one I couldn't find of my childhood toys, but I don't have the blank complete in box. I just got the blank. The only one I couldn't find was Steve the Tramp. I don't know what I've got done with my Steve the Tramp toy.
I never got into Dick Tracy. It's one of those things where like I couldn't get over how his raincoat was always really clean throughout the whole entire movie. It was like, I don't know, I couldn't get over it. And so I was like, this is bogus.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
I find it funny now because like I'll always make choice. I got an Apple Watch
Mhm.
and I answer calls on my watch, and I'm like, this reminds me of something for some reason.
Yeah.
Dick Tracy, of course, right? With the
Nice.
yeah. So you're getting Foo Fighters tomorrow, and this is what I kind of wanted to bring up. You have arcades, but you don't ever do any content on it. You're like Justin, because Justin also has a
Full
bunch
size
of full
arcades.
price arcade, full sized arcades as well. Never ever talks about them. Why is that?
Yeah, part of it is the location of them because I didn't do the upright arcades. I bought big ass ginormous arcades. So my principle is like if I wanted a real arcade, I wanted something that I couldn't emulate raw. Like if I wanted to play, I mean Tron you can play on a smaller version, but you could have emulated that you could on a smaller setup. I was like, I kind of want a racing cat or something that like is really hard and unique from a
Yeah.
playfield standpoint. So my three arcades that I have are a two-seater virtual on giant ass robot fighting cabinet, blue and pink. I have a Star Wars pod racer cabinet with the full-on like pod racer seat and this amazing gun game called Gunman Wars, which is like it's a shooting game, right? But you kind of move the giants. So they're like three machines, but it takes up my full wall of half of my garage. So making content in that space is hard. One, two, they all need a little bit of work, and I've just not dived into that. Even though I feel like I could, if I wanted to, I could dive into that, recapping the monitors, testing out the PCBs. I eventually feel like I will get to that phase, but I had so many projects I was doing in home arcade space. Even in just this room, still feels like a mess. Like, and so I just can never get out of my own projects to get to that next level. But that's the reason for me personally.
I also got to say a huge thank you to Pitbull as well. I talked to Pitbull quite a bit.
Nice.
Whenever something came up that was like a real arcade, I would always ask him because like I'm clueless on this stuff, right?
Mhm.
So when this post came up, I talked to Pitbull, and Pitbull was like, "Yeah, man, like Tron that clean for that price. You'd be crazy not to get it. And he's been super helpful too. He's mentioned about there's a mod chip you can put in to also play Satan's Hollow on the Tron
Nice.
arcade
Andy's game
cab.
room just said it right now. The
Yeah.
Satan's Hollow mod right there.
And then on top of that, he also talked about the power supply. And that was one of the cool things. I went in with a list of questions when I went to the guy's house about the Tron arcade cab, and they all came from Pitbull, like all the things to look out for. And one of them was the power supply. And sure enough, what Pitbull told me about the power supply is you can get this converter board and put a more secure power supply in. And the guy showed me that's like the first thing he did. So I'm super happy with the work the guy did on this. Like, honestly, it's up and running. And I got to tell you, like, this guy was awesome because I got this back to my house today, turned it on. And B, if you looked at our chat, the first thing that happened was I turned it on and it came up RAM error. And I was like, son of a bitch, didn't make it home. He actually drove down to my house and like just got it back up and running in like a second. So
Nice.
I was pretty excited about that.
Nice. You made an arcade friend. Did he mention why he was selling it then, if it was such a good deal?
So he's the kind of person that's constantly moving stuff in and out. He's currently got his Godzilla Pro up for sale here. So he's the same guy with the Godzilla Pro. He's got a Guns N' Roses. He's a tinkerer, right? So he loves to pick these things up and then work on them and then
move them on.
Yeah, well, not for profit. He just does it for like enjoyment, shit like that. And Tron was his favorite game. This is the one he's held on to the longest. It's just he's there looking at it. He's like, you know, I got 3 pinball tables now. I'd like more. So I had to make some room. So he decided to finally let go of Tron, and I'm pretty excited to grab it.
Nice. Stringer Films.
$2 super chat. My first actual full-size game was Skee Ball. Look at that. Stringer has one of the most impressive like real arcades of all the home arcade space right now.
I do remember Stringer, the one Arcade OneUp that he still has that I think is a Star Wars trilogy mod. It's actually one of the first things that I saw when I was tinkering with my Star Wars, and he made his own Star Wars trilogy at home. So are you going to replace that with the real Star Wars trilogy eventually, Stringer? Let us know in the chat, because I know that you really liked that mod that you did. That was really cool.
Yeah. So anyways, this has just been something I've always wanted to do. I'm really excited. Like I'm giddy, you know, I'm giddy. I bought my first real arcade machine today.
Yeah.
So it's pretty exciting.
Like you just had your first kiss, Michael B. Like you're all high. Like, man.
It's like I'm right
you
back
always
in the
remember
mall,
your first
in Wayne's World again. I just bought her the mood ring, and I'm gonna stick my tongue so far down her throat.
Oh, the things you're gonna do to that arcade cabinet, it's not gonna be good for the next owner, I can tell you that much.
Yeah, so I'm super excited about it, and it's funny because a lot of people say like this stuff. I know Zohar's mentioned it in the chat now. Is home arcade dead? I don't think it's dead, but like you got to look at it. I mean, there hasn't been a lot going on in the last like 6-7 months. Like not really, right? So people's interests peak and go to different things.
Yeah, it's a matter of space now. I think I was telling that someone randomly. I was like, "Oh, why do you think like the hobby is dying?" Or I was talking about my YouTube channel. It's like not growing as much anymore. And part of it is what you're saying. There's not a lot coming out from the companies, one. And two, most everybody that's been in this hobby now for about 2-3 years, space is now the enemy of us all. And so the growth opportunity to like really hunt the next one and put it out there, that's the limiting factor now. It's not like buying a toy and putting it on a shelf. Like these are big decisions you have to make in your house. And that becomes with real conversations you need to have with your spouse and other people. So
you had one of those conversations today, didn't you?
I did have a strong conversation with the wife about, where the heck everything's going to go. I tried to like slightly say that, hey, that virtual pinball machine I'm building downstairs, what if we replace it with the full-time permanent rope? She's like, you're supposed to get rid of that 6 months ago. So it's fun.
There we go. I thought you were needing space, so you sold a lot of your one-ups. Do you sell more to make room for this? Are you quiet quitting home arcade? You didn't waste $5. Thank you very much, Gallagher guy. I appreciate it. No, it's just one of those things. Like you said, I just answered it. It's just not a lot going on right now. I did sell a lot of my arcade one-ups to make room, but I'm still incredibly interested in arcades. It's just there's nothing going on. I've made countless videos about it. There's nothing for sale here in Canada. There hasn't been a new Arcade OneUp product since October of last year. So there you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you have any trouble moving it down to
Oh
your
my god,
place?
did I ever be? It's
Yeah?
so heavy. It's so
So, I mean,
freaking heavy.
because well, you talked about I mean, that's one of the reasons why I swear you've done a show about the benefits of, like, home arcade products versus real
Yeah,
machines, right? And so now you're experiencing the ownership of, I think, what was it? Canada Phil was saying CRTs
yeah,
average 325 pounds. So you can finish the super chat and then get to that, but yeah.
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 So Stringer Film says $2. I'll replace if I find a deal. One Up Star Wars is in cockpit. So
Oh,
I
nice.
mean, like,
Mhm.
it's one of those things. It's like Tron. Like I said, I was keeping certain arcade one ups. I will admit now, I sold my Tron this morning. That's the other thing that was really cool. So like it was just happenstance. I was like, okay, we got a really nice day today. I can get people to help me with transportation. And like that morning, I was like, I'd really like to get my Tron gone before I did. And this guy called me up, sent me a message, and he was like, "Hey, any chance you'll sell me your Outrun and your Tron for X amount of dollars?" I was like,
Mhm.
"Boy, oh boy, will I!" So that was the final push. I went and got everything.
Well, there you go. There you go. So, uh, lots of space considerations I'm making. I think about space probably like the number one thing I think about all the time when I just look at my room and be like, how am I supposed to fit three more pinball machines in my house or like two more pinball machines in my house when I have this space? Like the space that I'm actually streaming from right now
Yeah,
is a temporary desk space that was meant to be a sit down racing rig space that I've just converted into like, hey, I'm just gonna do work here. And so I was like, do I sell my toys? Like, also, that's another thing I never make content on. I have toys up the
I know.
wazoo on display and shelves and walls, but like I've enjoyed them for like years. But like, they look great. But maybe I could fit more arcades in there, move more stuff out. I don't
Well,
know. It's like,
it depends. You go from interest to interest, right? And
mhm,
sometimes like
yeah.
toys are your biggest interest. Other times they're
Mhm,
not. It's just
mhm,
what are you really passionate about at that time? And like, would you
yeah.
be sad if your toys weren't there anymore?
I think there's some I can there's like just like there's tiers of different arcades. There's some like bottom tier toys that I have in my collection that I could absolutely get rid of. Do you remember the Robotech saga or all that good stuff, right? There was
Oh
this
yeah,
trash company, just funny side story, called Toynami. They were like the US version of making these Valkyries, and they were kind of bootlegs of the Japanese ones that were high quality. And I'm like, oh, there's these ones. And I opened it up and like the finger started to crumble. I'm like, I literally can't touch this or it's going to fall apart. So I'd be happy to get rid of those. So it's like a butt end joke of manufacturing. So yeah, I think decisions are on the way for many of us in this hobby, but real arcades, is it going to be forever? Is this the start of a
I
long
don't
journey
know.
into getting more?
I don't know. I mean, like again, this is the first time in 3.5 years that
Hmm.
something has come up here where I'm like, yeah, I gotta have that. Like that's something I really want to add to my collection. So I
Hmm.
don't know. It all depends on if stuff comes up. Like I've been looking at the classifieds a lot harder recently.
Hmm.
But like I'll also tell you that the market here is really super competitive. The guy I was talking to today talked about it. There's like 3 or 4 people that really deal in home arcade and pinball here in the province.
Hmm.
And when I mean deal, they're looking to pick stuff up on the cheap because they have a little
But
bit of know-how and they're
mhm.
very competitive and like aggressive. So they'll pick stuff up and try to get it and then flip it. So it's hard for like doofus like me to find something and buy it.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, location probably matters in terms of what's available, but the hunt is a fun thing to
Yeah.
do. Like when you find and discover something, like I could tell as soon as you posted the ad and you were starting to like get the itch of like I was gonna go, like that anticipation,
Yeah.
that feeling of like I'm gonna get it. Like those are just things that, now that you've crushed the threshold of like finally bringing it into your house, are you still on that high? How long do you think that high is gonna last before you kind of look for the next one?
When I look at my bank account later.
That realization, right?
Yeah. That'll kick in. We got a 4.99 super chat here. The inevitable hard pivot from one up to real arcade
Ah,
is real. No, I
Brad
don't know about
P.
that.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, okay.
here's where I wanted to go with this, and I was hoping Fox would be here as well because
Mhm,
Fox is another one. Fox has bought like a bunch of real arcades. You have
mhm,
real arcades out in your garage. Justin has probably a full arcade ready to go somewhere in his house that he never talks about.
mhm,
But like we're all still really interested in Arcade One Up, different facets of it.
mhm,
It's not like it's a dead stop point. Even when we all started buying real pinball tables, we were all like, yeah. we're still good to go with the virtual. I don't think there has to be a hard pivot
Mhm.
or, one or another. I've never been that guy. Like, even with the home arcade space, like, you can like At Games, you can like iArcade, you can like
Yeah.
Arcade OneUp. Everything's fine. There's no real answer. You don't have to be one or the other.
It does it all relates, right? Because it all stems from the original arcade nostalgia. So
Yeah.
whether it's real, whether it's home arcade, I think everybody should enjoy the hobby however they can. Maybe it's still somebody that's just doing emulation on their PC and they're still
Yeah.
enjoying and watching. And part of the I'm sure there were times where you missed the look of having a full arcade in your house, right? Of just like sitting there and having the lights and things on, like you missed that part. But now you can enjoy some of the real stuff. Brad D, by the way, I don't know how you feel about this. He just bought a full size projector version of Star Wars Trilogy and just brought it into his house last week. So he
Wow.
did a hard pivot. He has a
Yeah.
full size Star Wars Trilogy now, the beastie one, the one with the projector. So
Yeah.
yeah, those I don't know, space wise, would you ever get like a sit down racer or something that
Oh
big? Or
yeah.
would you be thinking like
100%.
you would do
100%.
that? You'd get something like that?
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah.
missed a super chat from Pitbull. I got to go back and find Pitbull. I
Jerky
am
jerky.
so sorry, brother.
All right. You gotta show us how to get swole too.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
actually, he's the person to go to. I'll help you all I can. I now have 14 full size cabaret. Thank you very
Nice.
much, brother.
Yeah. Nice,
Thank
nice,
you for the
nice.
super chat, and thank you as well,
Mm-hmm.
Brad D. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm off guard here now. I got caught confused by missing the super chat, but
Mm-hmm.
so I don't think any of us are leaving this space or not interested in this space anymore. It's
Mm-hmm.
just, when opportunity arises, there's also other really cool stuff we want. Oh, you asked me about the racer.
Yes.
100%. That is one I 1,000% would buy, even though it's a juggernaut and takes up almost so much space.
Mm-hmm.
But let's be honest here. Even if At Games comes out with a racer,
Mm-hmm.
Arcade One Up comes out with a racer, it's never going to be arcade quality. There's
Yeah.
things missing. Like, you're never going to get
Yeah.
a San Francisco Rush that actually comes with that green seat. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You're never going to get a Daytona that's
Mm-hmm.
a sit down racer. Like, it's just never going to happen. So if you want a really good racer,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, you're probably going to have to buy an arcade. That's the truth. A real
Yeah,
arcade.
and here's the fun thing, like, when I first got my Star Wars mod and I converted my riser to a bench, and I was like, "I'm gonna just put a chair on top of this bench, and I'm gonna try to put pedals here." I didn't understand, like, what a real racing setup feels like. I thought if I had a seat and pedals, it would feel natural, but it was dumb uncomfortable how I set up that mod, and I see the same thing for the sit-down outrun. People put a chair on the bench for the sit down and then they try to sit on the pedals where it normally sits and it's this unnatural position. So on a real arcade, the floor is risen up the actual where you're sitting, right, on the green seat, and then the wheels or the pedals are recessed further back, and then you're literally sitting more in a cockpit. So there's this natural feeling that's hard to replicate in any home version of a sit down cabinet. So I think that's just like, to your point, yeah, it's hard to replicate.
Yeah.
Hard to replicate.
It's not. And let's also be honest about
Mhm.
like the sit down racers.
Mhm.
Daytona is a possibility, but like
Mhm.
they got to get there emulation wise, which they're not
I
there
don't think
yet.
they're gonna do another sit down one. I don't think it makes sense in the home arcade space.
I think it does, but
Mhm.
you're right. You're right. But what I'm
Yeah.
saying is, because the little bench seat was the stupidest thing they ever did. That
Yeah.
sit down outrun was the dumbest
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. It
But
doesn't
a-
work.
and even an XL or a Pro Racer, I just don't think they can afford to do it with the shipping and everything of
Mhm.
having that seat in there. So
Mhm.
what I was saying though, even if they did come out with these, this is the point I was trying to make
Mhm.
transition to. Even if they did get the Daytona and different things like that, if they stop making these other racing games that I question why they're making.
Mhm.
So what I will say is, some of these games, like, we just had Fast and the Furious. We didn't really get Fast and the Furious. We got a approximation of it. If we get cruising, is cruising going to be cruising, or are they going to have to morph it to make it work on the console?
Mhm.
That's the other thing about getting some arcade games are just never going to be right. Like, I'll
Yeah.
use WrestleFest as an example. If you want to
Oh,
play the
yes.
original WrestleFest,
Mhm.
it's emulation or it's by the real arcade, because no reproduction is going to be able to do exactly what the original did.
Yes, that's a good example. Fast and Furious was a good example of kind of doing a port. But I think they could do some of those older 90s titles well. You know, I think some of the ones like a Daytona
Yeah.
or a Cruisin', those could be done with minimal changes based on what I can remember from a licensing standpoint or things they would have to remove. Chipsets and things, if they do a full like recreation and not running emulation or whatever, it's totally possible. Like they're really close to Model 2 emulation. Like their Namco System 22 was the furthest, and then they jumped straight to Fast and Furious. So I don't know, it just got me all sorts of like, hey, the possibilities are there if they spend enough money to do it. So yeah.
So we had a super chat here from Stringer Films again. Got to build a detached garage before extending my arcade. Treat yourself, man. Go get yourself a she shed.
Yeah, I see 19 Fox in the chat. He should join to talk about modding. Plus, you can give us the down low on how modding your Arcade OneUp went. Like you followed Fox's tutorial, didn't you?
Yeah, for modding, for doing my screen mod on my Pac-Mania. That was the other thing.
Yeah.
Like I am a hardcore non-mod. I'm gonna keep my shit the way it is, but I've been modding my Arcade OneUps recently. I know. Genie tears.
Look at you. Yeah. So how was that process? Tell us about it.
A lot easier than I thought it would be. I was scared to death just because I am like so stupid when it comes to this stuff. And Fox led me in the right direction in terms of what to do to put the screen in right. I mean, the first one was an easy one. I took an old Arcade OneUp monitor and put it into a new Arcade OneUp. Now, my next modding project is going to be a little bit tougher. It's more what 19K Fox just did. I've got two of the Dell monitors, 19-inch BOE screens in them, so I've got to, decase those and put those into my 2XL cabs. You got to go? We're going to lose B. We're going to lose B, aren't we?
No, Mrs. Kong Zeros is here and saying, I vacuumed, and that was a good thing, right?
So you could be on a live
No,
stream.
because I just finished modding and I had like crumbs all over the floor.
I needed his help.
Yeah. I'm getting the side eye. It's okay. I love you.
She's the best.
Fun thing that we did earlier today. Jack in the Box has locally just introduced boba into their menu, and we were so curious, like boba on a Jack in the Box menu. We have to try it just for kicks, and so we're still recovering from whatever atrocity the boba we just experienced was. So that was about an hour or two ago. She might be cranky because she had some really bad boba from Jack in the Box. So
quick question. So Jack in the Box, that's a like Western chain, right?
Yeah. Oh, so you guys don't have Jack in the Box?
No. We don't have Jack in the Box.
Never heard of Jack in the Crack?
Yeah.
Oh,
I've heard of it. I've seen tons of commercials, but I've never seen one.
Oh, yeah. So maybe that's what we got to go in Cleveland. We got to take it to Jack in the Crack. So they have two. What's the best thing on the Jack in the Box menu? You guys help me out. Like ultimate cheeseburger. Did you ever hear the ultimate cheeseburger jingle back in the day with the meaty cheese? So remember when boy bands were really big? They had a boy band.
They're not anymore because I'll destroy all my CDs.
Yeah, no, they were called the Meaty Cheesy Boys, and they made a jingle called the Ultimate Cheeseburger, and it was straight up like meat, cheese, cheese, like the ultimate cheeseburger. You got to have an ultimate cheeseburger. You're a big burger guy.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I thought Jack in the Box was also a taco place.
They have like a two tacos for 99 cents was their like claim to fame, and they're like kind of deep fried tacos. So they're like oily, greasy messes that you could like wipe on the wall like Simpsons, and it would turn like clear. It's like that taco,
crusty burger,
the crusty burger
flies through the wall.
It's exactly the taco that comes out of the Jack in the Box tacos. Yeah, iconic tacos. Yeah. They don't have Jack in the Box in Cleveland. What?
No, I was gonna say, man. I think it's a like West Coast thing.
Is this a West Coast thing? I did not know that. Holy
hot
crap.
dog surprise!
All right,
super chat.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I've got a buddy that lives in Seattle, so he hits up Jack in the Box as well. But I thought it was a Western thing.
Yeah, they had the best like marketing commercials too. Like the Jack commercials are like amazing.
So, I've seen the commercials. Tons. You've seen the
commercials. I've just never been to. All right, so
Jack in the Box has got the big snowman head with the carrot nose. Yeah.
All right, well there it is, and now you can try their fantastic boba if you ever come out to California.
So B, you're getting Foo Fighters tomorrow. Godzilla's on the way.
Yes.
How are you gonna do it? So I look at your Arcade One Up
What
collection
what do
back
you
there,
ask me
and
questions I don't know the
I know,
answer
I
to,
know. So
Mike?
I'm gonna ask
Mhm,
this. So,
mhm,
I recently sold a lot of mine off because and this shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. I
mhm,
really like the XL cabinets. I like the
mhm,
Pro cabinets. I wanted something a little bit more substantial. So I started buying those, and now I'm going to be modding them. I'm putting new screens in them because I want to keep Golden Tee and NBA Jam. I just hate the screens.
mhm.
What about you? Do you think that you're still down with the 3/4 scale size, or
Yeah, I look at my current collection, and the wall behind me that I have is something that I really really enjoy. It goes from like Marvel's Capcom 1, which even though I can play that on my MVC 2, that's still like my all-time favorite fighting game of all time. So that's
yeah?
like pure nostalgic. I've played that cabinet more than all my other cabs combined. So I feel like that's one I still will want to play. It's still like the nostalgic feels for me. So I really like the whole wall. But I do to the left of me, like bundled up in this corner of other modding supplies are Ridge Racer, the Class of 81 Deluxe, and an Atari Tempest, and a TMNT that has all my toys inside of it that I rarely ever turn on because they're like off camera and then like they're just kind of sitting here. So I was like, these are ones that I would be like, because this wall right here to my right are like my two pinball machines. So one theory is I get rid of everything on this wall so I can put the extra pinball machines and make this a row of pinball here and then maybe some other cabs behind. Because I don't have like a huge space. I have this like little den overhang over my staircase, and that's it. Like I don't have a full-on dedicated space or a room to put everything. And that's why full size arcades are hard because I have to bring them upstairs. Like where I'm sitting is in my upstairs. I had to bring that full size pinball machine upstairs. And so that's ridiculously stupid. And so that's my issue. I don't have a place downstairs to play it. So yeah, space has become my big enemy.
I cannot tell you how heavy Tron was. Tron was like the heaviest thing I've ever dealt
Yeah.
with in my life.
So I think what I'm doing tomorrow is I don't know if you saw, but I'm planning to sell my Legends pinball machine, my
No,
Star Trek
no.
Legends pinball
Why you
machine.
do that, B? Well,
Yeah,
you of course bought that amazing. You built that
yeah.
amazing
Because I have a
pinball,
full
so I
size
understand.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I'm getting a full size one with more toys. I love that thing to death, right? But if I wanted to play the Legends ecosystem, I have the mini Micro, Pinball
yeah.
Micro. So I can still play like those tables, but I don't need the fun PC version of that. So I'm getting rid of that. And so that I think that's what I'm gonna do is I gotta tonight clean up and move that downstairs. I think I'm gonna bring the Foo upstairs to sit next to my Star Wars pinball machine. So I think that's the plan. That's the plan. Did
I
you
don't know what my plan is anymore.
Okay, all right. I think that's my call. I'm gonna quietly fade into the background
All
and
right, B.
let you finish off the show. Thank you all so much for
Good luck.
hanging out.
Good
I'll
luck with
see if
your
I can
wife
come
and your
back.
cleaning. And by the way,
Yeah.
send me some pictures when you get your Foo Fighters tomorrow.
Oh
I want
yeah,
to
I
see it.
will for sure, man. All right, talk to you
All
later.
right.
Bye.
See you, B. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. We got a $4.99 super chat here from Ezekiel, the Chicago Retro Ranger. What up, Mike B? Love you guys. Love you too, Ezekiel. Good man. So, really quickly, thank you for the super chat. That's kind of what the conversation was tonight. I'm just giddy. I'm excited. I bought my first real arcade. This is a day I never thought would happen. Am I moving towards a different direction in my real arcade channel now? No. Hey, here we go. Look at this guy.
I love the shirt, Mike.
Yeah, hold
I
on.
had
Hold
to.
on.
I had to, bro.
Now we're ready to go. What's happening, brother?
I saw your shirt and I was like, dude, I gotta call in because I'm rocking this one today, man.
You know what the funny thing is? I went into Restream and I've had the shirt on. I've actually had the shirt on since yesterday. It's been a long couple of days. So
This is great, man. I love that we're wearing matching shirts today.
So I
This is
saw you
awesome.
were in there, and I was like, "That's funny." I'm wearing a Raiders of the Last Ark shirt. He's wearing an Indiana Jones Temple of Doom shirt. Someone else has got to jump in. If you have an Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade shirt,
that would be
jump in
great.
for the trilogy.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. And also, you would have to put us in order, like
Yeah.
on screen. You know.
So
All right.
it's awesome that you came tonight, P Dubs, because what me and B were talking about is how most of us are kind of buying other things outside of like home arcade recently and stuff like that. Now
Oh,
you've
yeah.
always had stuff that's outside of home arcade. I mean,
Oh
ever
yeah.
since I've known
put,
you, you've had the Super Mario Brothers Gottlieb machine.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, don't my advice is don't paint yourself into a corner. You know what I mean? Like buy whatever makes you happy, bro.
That's right.
You know?
I bought so
So
many Thunder Sticks. I thought I was supporting Glenn. It wasn't.
Yeah. I mean, buy whatever makes you happy. Like, here's what's funny is some people feel like if you own what we like to call the real thing,
Yeah.
like you can't have what we call the toy thing, right? And I have a house that's full of Arcade OneUps, MVSX, iArcade, Act Games, real pinball machines. They all look great together. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, every arcade I've ever gone to, none of the machines were the same size and shape and style. You know what I mean? Like, have fun.
Whatever you like to play, right? Like
If
one
you
thing
like to
I'll
play
never
it, play it. Yeah.
one thing I'll never let go of, even though I have real Tron. I'm not going to let go of my Star Wars just because I have real arcades. I mean, unless I buy a real Star Wars, I'm probably never going to sell my Arcade OneUp Star Wars. I just really like that thing. There's nothing wrong with that, right?
No, nothing wrong with it. So, for instance, like as it stands right now, if there was a fire in the house, I would get my wife, my son, my dogs out of the house, and then I would run back in and save my Star Wars pinball machine and my Mario pinball machine. I would put them on the pinball dolly and just wheel them outside as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Everything else could go. You know.
So I got to tell you something today. Don't be mad at me.
Uh-oh. What'd you do?
I almost bought a second item.
Hold on. Let me adjust my camera over a little bit. There we go. Now I'm more centered. You bought another one? Wait, you bought Tron.
No, I bought Tron. You didn't know that?
Well, I know about Tron, but what was the other one?
So while I was there, remember I sent you a picture the other night and said, guess what I got to play tonight?
The D&D pinball machine.
Yeah, he's selling that too.
Are you buying the Dungeons and Dragons pinball machine?
Maybe.
Dude, I would be so happy for you.
I will tell you, I played it, and I don't know if I love it because it has this weird dynamic where it has a second set of flippers for that magic shot. Because when you drain out, there's like holes in the drain line. So you actually got to press this magic lane to keep the ball in. So I don't know if I love that mechanic. Everything else on the table was amazing. And of course, it's got that awesome topper. Did the one you look at have the topper?
Yeah, it did.
Oh my God, that thing is amazing.
That guy didn't want to negotiate. How much is he selling this D&D pinball for?
$4,000 Canadian.
Which is how much American?
Probably a little less than 3,000.
See, if the guy who was trying to, I was trying to buy it from, was willing to get down under that price American, I would have pulled the trigger.
Yeah,
but he wanted like 4,500 some crap, and I'm like,
yeah,
dude,
that's wacky.
I was like, dude, I'll give you $3,000. I'll pick it up today. No, I know what I got. I know what it's worth. I'm like, well, actually, the internet says it's only worth this much. You know what I mean? But
it's
some people you can't argue with.
It's called Pinside. Just go look, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the other funny thing too is the guy I was talking to today, he was talking about it. He was like, pinball market's starting to get soft, right? So a lot of people are out there, they're jacking up their prices now, and it's not really the right time to do so. They're sitting on stuff a lot longer.
Yeah. I think so. So Tron is home. Did you tell everyone how it wasn't working when it got home, and then you had to call? And because you don't know how to fix this stuff, you called him and made him come back and fix it.
And it was the stupidest thing ever. It was just it jostled around a little bit when we were moving. So like he got there and he basically just took like one of the ribbon cable. But Tron is a lot more complicated than other arcades. Like it's got a board stack. There's a lot of moving pieces to it. So he just moved it around and it came right back on. But I was panicking because it's my first arcade. It was working when I grabbed it. It wasn't working when I got it home. So of course I'm going to be paranoid.
I'm sorry, Mike. I'm still staring at our shirts.
They're glorious. This couldn't have worked out better.
When does the new movie come out?
I think it's like July 1st or June 30th, something like that.
That's like this weekend, bro.
I know. It's happening.
I know where I'm going to be. I have to see it. It's Indiana Jones.
Oh, yeah. Of course we're going to go see it.
You know? And hopefully it's better than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
I like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I don't know why everybody was so mad about it.
Well, it was George Lucas being George Lucas. They're not aliens. They're interdimensional beings. They're freaking aliens, George Lucas.
I think George Lucas forgot. There's the unfortunate thing is there's a very easy dynamic to making a good Indiana Jones movie. Nazis, religious artifacts. As long as you have two of those, you're good to go. When you go outside of that,
Let's go
it's not going to
aliens,
be as
bro.
good.
We're gonna do Alien.
Well, I thought the alien stuff could work. It just got a lot stupid, right?
Yeah. How's your Godzilla pinball holding up? Did you have to take out the shaker motor?
Yeah, I had to take out the shaker motor, so that one's still a mystery. I got my arc blades. I haven't put those in yet, so we'll see. Hopefully, I can figure out what's going on with the shaker motor. I think maybe there was a rubbing off the case. The case was a little bit too tight,
Yeah.
and I think it's creating a short, so that's why it works again when I unplug it. So I'll probably end up having to buy a new shaker motor. I'm not super happy about that, but it's all part of the learning process. Could be worse. Godzilla could be down.
Yeah. You know what's funny? Bill over on Bill's Retro Gaming Show, he put in the live chat, at least there's no Shia LaBeouf in the new movie. If that kid didn't go psychotic nuts, they were going to pass the torch to him. You know, he was Indiana Jones's son. And I don't know. I didn't see it. You know what I mean? I didn't see it. As much as people hate Chris Pine, I can accept Chris Pine. Not Chris Pine. Is it Chris Pine? Star-Lord.
Oh,
Chris Pratt?
Chris Pratt, yeah.
As much as people don't like Chris Pratt either, like Chris Pratt, like in my opinion, if you put him next to Harrison Ford, I'd be like, okay, yeah, that's Indiana Jones' son. Like I can kind of see it, right? But like Shia LaBeouf, what?
Oh, he was a big star at the time. He was like a rising star.
Yeah. Anyway.
So, anyways, the thing I'm worried about with Indiana Jones, I hope it's fantastic. I hope I enjoy it. So, even though they're calling it the Dial of Destiny, this is still Indiana Jones and the Lost City of Atlantis, from what I understand. The same script and all that stuff. So we should be okay. So that's, I think, where they're going with it, right? The Dial of Destiny has to do with Atlantis. But what I am concerned about, the one thing that I thought they nailed in the last movie, the one thing that was perfect, is bringing her back, his love interest from the first movie, Marion.
Mm-hmm.
And then having the son, I was like, what a great touch. The family, what a great way for Indiana Jones to end. So I hope whatever happens, they don't screw it up on this one.
It would have been cool to see Marion get stuck in another basket, you know, like the first movie. You know what I mean? The whole basket scene. That was a fantastic scene. Raiders of the Lost Ark is such a damn good movie. It's nearly perfect in every facet. The script, the writing, the directing, the action, the choreography, the funny moments. Such a good movie.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways,
I'm just excited about our shirts.
I know. And Indiana Jones is coming out soon. I did want to ask a couple other questions tonight.
Sure.
I don't usually do news stuff, but I wanted to do a little bit of news. So
news,
because you know, I'm giddy about this. I can't talk about it sensibly. I'm just very excited about
Unico's Phoenix hobbies. Monitors.
Well, no, I'm not going to do a Phoenix monitor. I'm gonna try to live that CRT life with my new home arcade. If I have a real arcade, I'm gonna try to keep CRTs alive and well. But the reason why I wanted to talk about news, so there was a little bit of news out last night. I sent it along, and I'm shocked by it. So if you guys have already seen this by now, so if you are an Arcade OneUp fan in the US and you missed out on your opportunity to get Marvel vs. Capcom 2, boy, do I have some good news for you. If you want a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 arcade cabinet, but you want it to look real stupid, Arcade OneUp has the answer for you coming out now. Arcade OneUp X Kith crossover Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Why do they keep doing this stuff?
Exposure.
I know. It's a multi-million subscriber Instagram channel, huge clothing line. It's just so stupid.
Exposure.
Just so stupid.
The question is are they going to list it on their website or on the Kith website? You know what I mean?
It's going to be on Best Buy because that's the only place they shop from now.
It'll be on Best Buy.
So, but I was confused when I saw the posting. Scott James sent it to me. So it said 6 units. So is there only going to be 6 of the Kith? Well, here we go. B-Kong. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, B-Kong, who had to leave.
Say it.
Close personal friend of John D. and known Arcade OneUp sympathizer. Kith, 0.8 million Instagram followers.
You tell B that in private chats. You call him that's his full title. You know, like Lord of the Realm.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand it's a big brand, and hopefully it, spreads stuff out for Arcade One Up and increases the user base. But like, man, I just think it's so stupid. Like, you're a home arcade company. Like, let me know when Quarter Arcades or Quarter Arcades or New Wave Toys does their Kith collaboration.
What's his name over at New Wave? New Wave?
Oh, I don't know.
Shiloh? Shiloh, is that the guy?
Shiloh, yeah.
Yeah. Shiloh's sitting in a boardroom right now, like, guys, we got to bring back
Kith
bongo
on board.
jeans. Bongo jeans. Got to bring back bongo jeans. We're gonna do the Z Cavarici Space Invaders. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna happen.
So I guess the good thing is there's more versions of this coming out for people who wanted more Marvel versus Capcom 2. So for the people that missed out, you're going to get another chance to get it. I guess that's the important thing. There's going to be more regular cabs coming too, according to this, information that came out. Whoopie-doo.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why they do it. It's exposure, try and get their name out there. I get it. I'm not forced to buy it.
Yeah.
We'll have to see the artwork on it. The Supreme cabinet was. Remember the Supreme cabinet?
You know what the sad thing is? The Supreme cabinet was probably the nicest, even though it was terrible. The Clot, or as most
which one was the worst? Was it the 7-Eleven one?
The Clot. Clot, Big Blue. Remember?
Yes.
Big Blue that had the period.
Yeah, that didn't look so good.
No.
Yeah. It'd be like
Chinatown Market looked okay, and then the Street Fighter countercade they did. Yeah. Like, if you were into fancy stuff, that could be. Yeah, B's the winner right here. Pizza Hut was the worst.
Yeah. Oh, is he talking about the Yoga Flame?
Pizza Hut Pac-Man. Yoga Flame is Pizza the Hut.
Pizza the Hut. I know. A lot of people love the artwork on it. It was so orange and red and yellow. It just looked like pizza to me. It looked like Pizza the Hut. Mystery Encoder wants to know if you are going to mod your iArcade when all these mods come out.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah.
You're 100%. A modder now. This is a modding channel. You're a pinball modding channel. Moving forward.
Like, I still want to keep my stock shit. As long as I can keep my stock shit, 100%. I intend to mod my iArcade. No doubt about it. Yeah. I mean, they're not going to be coming out with any more games. As long as I can still play Riptide Renegade, Wizard of Walls, and what's the other one? The Robotron clone.
Mike only has Dead Cells, the one behind him. He's got the gold.
Yeah, I don't have a Gen 1. I sold my Gen 1. Funny story. I sold my Gen 1 to a guy, and then a little later he bought my Golden Axe arcade. And when I brought it over, he was like, "Hey, any chance instead of money you want to trade for a Gen 1 iArcade?" And I was like, "No, dude, I sold that to you. Yeah, you want to take it back?" And I was like, "No."
Yeah. So Mystery Encoder lives in the same state as me. So when he has his little mystery bankrupt or jailbreak board ready, I'm just gonna go over to his house and put it in his machine because I have the gold back here. It's gonna be modded a little different.
Oh, well, I had Sonny Ogle write me the other day. He thought you were selling your Space Invaders. Remember?
Yeah, it's funny. I've had a couple of people reach out to me and say, "Hey, if you don't want your iArcade Gold anymore, I'd like to buy it." Isn't it funny since the company announced that they're going out? I've had a couple people message me, and I'm like, dude, I'm hanging on to it for now. I want to see what Glenn and Team Encoder come up with.
Yeah, it's funny. It's one of the things that I don't understand about this no modding concept behind this, because I know the Brick here in Canada still has a ton in stock of iArcades at retail, and apparently there's a bunch on Amazon and stuff like that. I don't know if iArcade realizes that usually when this stuff happens and these consoles kind of are a little bit of a failure, and then like mod stuff comes out, the hardware sells like crazy. Nostalgia mentioned it with the PlayStation Classic. Like, let's be honest, PlayStation Classic was a massive bust. That thing sucked ass. But then, thanks to the PlayStation Classic, Nostalgia built a channel on it. He is now the, great value ETA Prime, thanks to the PlayStation Classic.
I think I got my PlayStation Classic. I think it was like $19.99 or something, $29.99.
I bought my second PlayStation Classic, yeah.
Remember when they dropped the price so low because they couldn't get rid of them? Oh my goodness. Yeah.
And then Nostalgia got his hands on it. He's like, "Ooh, RetroArch, baby." And now you can play this and this, and now you can't buy them. So, like, if I know they don't want to be supportive of modding, But at the same time, like, I mean, they did do an episode where they showed off Glenn's deck, and Glenn's like, you can put whatever you want on your single board chip. And they're like, isn't that great?
Well, we talked about that. So they made the announcement like on that Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. I can't remember what day of the week it was. Maybe it was Wednesday, Tuesday. They're like, hey, I'm going bankrupt. And then they had Glenn come on, and then they were promoting his panel. And then that same week on Super Game Room Dudes, we were talking about, like, was it bad timing to the final act of this company is technically promoting, you know, I mean, what are you going to put on Glenn's deck or his SBC? You're going to put ROMs, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, it seems kind of, it was confusing, right? We talked about that in Super Game Room Dudes, and then Jong had a temper tantrum the other day. He took his temper tantrum down, but they just need to move on. I talked about this on Multicade Mondays before you went live. I was like, they just need to kind of fade away and let us have fun with these machines. You know what I mean? Let us go nuts modding these things. I mean, you know how I get all excited about it.
Well, that's the thing. This is going to have a second life now with people picking these up saying, hey, really good sound, really good controls. I'm going to do all kinds of fun shit with this. That's why mine's still back there. That's what I plan on doing. I'm putting everything and anything on this. Glenn playing House of the Dead on that cab during that, goodbye show was the coolest thing that ever happened. Glenn playing House of the Dead. I was like, all right, I'm in. This is excellent.
Yeah. Yep. What else you got?
I don't know, man. I'm just excited. I'm tired. Like that was so much work. Like, I complain about moving Arcade OneUp sometimes. It is nothing compared to moving a real arcade. And Tron is a friggin' beast, man. Beast.
Yeah. Did he had it on a dolly, I'm assuming?
No. He was like, Tron's got wheels on the back. He was like, yeah, just move it back there, man. So he didn't have it on a dolly.
It's downstairs in your room.
Yeah, it's down in my new game room, so I gotta make a little bit of room. It's a little bit weird because you can't move it because it's got casters on the bottom, like same as pinball levelers. So I just can't like shift it around by myself. I've actually got to pick it up on its wheels and move it back if I want to move it. So I got to move a couple things out tonight. I'm gonna move my Golden T3D, my studio lighting, and I got to move my NBA Jam out of that room so I can get Godzilla and my pinball machine set up side by side. Then I'll kind of bring that stuff back in and see where it's going to fit.
That's good, man. Yeah, the arcade shuffle sucks. That's what I was doing over the weekend. I was moving the candy cab upstairs and moving Arcade OneUps downstairs, getting crap out of the garage. Dude, I was just moving stuff all weekend. I had it wasn't much fun.
Yeah.
It wasn't much fun. No, Teddy, I haven't played NBA Jam lately, and that's one of the few Arcade OneUps I still have left. I actually have an itch to play some NBA Jam. That would be fun.
When I get my monitor switched out, we should play some NBA Jam.
Like I remember Gunther and King Kirill had reached out to me that they were doing an NBA
Old School
Jam,
Gamer, yeah.
An NBA, Old School Gamer was doing an NBA Jam Arcade OneUp tournament a couple of weeks ago. I wish I could have participated in that. That would have been great. That would have been fun. But yeah, I got an itch to play some NBA Jam, man. I like NBA Jam.
We should get real NBA Jam arcades.
I actually like NBA. I like NBA Jam more than Blitz. Some people like Blitz more, but I like NBA Jam.
I like Blitz too.
It's stupid, simple fun. You know what I mean? So
I like Blitz too. I don't really have a lot going on tonight, P-dubs. I'm just tired. I'm just having fun talking about this shit. Oh, was there something else?
You still got 6 minutes at least, Mike. These shows got to go an hour.
And you don't have
unless you're me. I cut it off at 38 minutes. I was like, I gotta go.
You don't have to go an hour. So, you planning on getting any more real pinballs in the near future? Anything else on your horizon? What do you got coming up?
Yes, I would love to get a couple more real pinball machines. We'll see what comes to the market here. Am I going to be buying these 5-figure brand new Stern machines? No, it's not my thing. I'm always on the hunt looking for the either the late 80s or definitely like the 90s pinball machines because those are some of the best tables ever, and they're my style, And that's the kind of stuff I want to get my hands on. You know what I mean? I don't want to spend 10. Like I almost got that Elvira. You remember that Elvira that was for sale here?
Not to get that.
Like, I called the guy, I talked to him, we talked about the money and the shipping and stuff. He's like, I can deliver Elvira House of Horrors tomorrow, but it was like, wasn't it like 15?
No, not even close.
No. How much was it?
I
10?
think all
12?
told it would have been 10,000 to 11,000. Yeah.
Oh, it would have been like 11,000 and some change with the
Yeah.
delivery charge, right? And at the last minute, I walked away. I was like, I can't spend 5 figures on a pinball machine. I'm happy spending like 2 to 6,000 on classic tables that are awesome to own. You know what I mean?
I'll ask you this question though. Elvira scared stiff, right?
They're available on eBay. I could have had one eons ago.
Yes, but go look how much they are.
Yeah, they're like 13 to 16,000 is what people are selling for on
Yeah.
eBay. It's nuts. It's nuts.
And arguably, House of Horrors is a better table.
Don't say that.
Well, according to Pinside,
Blasphemy. Well, blasphemy. Well,
Oh.
I mean, it's a great table, but
I gotta answer this question for Mystery Encoder. So I modded, not a soft mod. I modded my At Games Legends pinball table. I did the exact same physical mods P-Dubs did. We both got the exact same back box from Buy Stuff
you did a
Store.
mod. You added a shaker motor to Godzilla.
Yes, I did add a shaker
But you
motor
must
to
have done
Godzilla.
something wrong because it broke.
I bought the wrong shaker motor, I think. But I do have a PC hooked up, and I'm playing visual pinball on my ALP as well. So,
Yeah. Now you got rid of all the Arcade OneUp pinballs, right?
oh yeah, they're gone.
Yeah.
Toast.
I have that one that was an Attack from Mars, which I put the Intech switch thing in, and it's taking up space. So I think I'm gonna have to sell it to somebody modded. You know what I mean?
You know what's sad about the Arcade OneUp pinballs? Like the Arcade OneUp pinballs, in terms of the way they're built and the way they are to play, they're really
Mhm.
good pinball machines. They have a good weight to them, good size to them. They feel good to play. It's comfortable to actually stand up and play at them.
If there's one thing they did right,
Yeah.
is they made them the perfect height.
Yeah.
They were so easy to play.
Yeah.
Just
Love
crappy
that about 'em.
screens, crappy versions of the
But
games.
it's not even the crappy screens, because the people that modded them and put like PCs in them using the stock screen got 1080 gameplay. It was actually a great screen. It's just, did you put a junk PCB in it? Couldn't run
Yeah.
Pinball FX.
JJ, what is the Intech Switch? So Intech Gaming, who do the like Nintendo Switch control panels for the Arcade OneUp machines, you've seen a lot of people do that. They take out the control panel, put in the Intech Gaming stuff, and now they have a Nintendo Switch multicade. They came out with a control panel for the pinball machine. I did a video on it. I did a review of it on my channel. And it's got its pluses and its minuses. So you can connect this control panel and all the hardware and use your stock monitor, stock speakers, and you can play your Nintendo Switch pinball, which obviously the Nintendo Switch versions of Zen Studios games are way better than the versions that are on the Arcade OneUp. Plus, you get access to the leaderboards, tournaments, events, high score challenges, all that stuff. You get the full boat. But the problem is it's not compatible with the DMD. That's the problem, you know. So that's
Kind of sucks
why
without the DMD. Yeah.
that's why I think that mod kind of died, and like not a lot of people did it, you know, is because you don't have the DMD. So if the DMD doesn't matter to you, then you can do it. But if it does, then you know, don't do it.
Oh, there was something else I wanted to say. So last week, a lot of people gave me a hard time and said that where I had Michael on, I should have moderated the chat better and not let any negative questions come about the iArcade or anything that was a hard question for Michael. So I just wanted to apologize for anybody who felt that way. And I really, really took a lot of information from your words and I'm learning from it. So I wanted to say, going forward, whenever I have anybody from Arcade OneUp on, I will not ask them any tough questions. I won't let anybody in the chat say anything negative to them. If you say anything bad about Arcade OneUp, you'll be immediately blocked. Thank you so much for your suggestions. I think it's 100% the right call. And thank you for alerting me to these issues that we shouldn't put these companies in awkward positions. Do you agree, Dubs?
Well, there's a couple ways to look at it. Number one is it was a very bad news week. So
horrible.
you knew you were walking into the lion's den.
Oh, 100%.
The people who are passionate fans and passionate about these products and these companies were at their most passionate when you scheduled that interview. So you knew it was gonna be a hot chat, a hot chat. And I think anyone who was upset or angry had every right to come in and ask those questions. You know what I'm saying? The only thing is sometimes people take things so personally. You know what I mean?
Do
And
they
where
ever, man?
they take it a little bit too far. There is always a line to cross. You know what I mean? You got to be respectful to the person you're interviewing, as well as respectful to your audience. And if you're hosting something like that, you get stuck in the middle. You know what I mean? Like I've done plenty of streams where I'm talking about like at games or something. There's people in the live chat saying like at games is a piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like, you're trying to, and you just let it go. I mean, they have a right to voice their opinion, Mike. You know what I mean?
100%.
Um,
I don't feel like
yeah.
censoring anybody or giving into people saying F you for letting this person talk and stuff like that. Like, I'm sorry if you don't like something somebody's
Well-
saying, that's fine. But I'm not going to have people on and then not ask them. Like, you be crucified. Like, how many times have you done interviews with people and the first thing they say is, you only ask the softball questions?
Yeah, because people, I mean, people want you to sometimes, I mean, there's ways to ask the questions they want asked, but you ask it more professionally. You know what I mean? Versus, coming in hot. You know what I mean? I thought you were respectful to Michael. It was a shitty thing to talk about it. I'm surprised he did it.
Michael was great. He was fantastic. Like, top marks to
Yeah.
that guy. And honestly, like, for everybody saying like, oh, you shouldn't have let this happen, you shouldn't have let this happen, the first
Well-
person after the show who said, you want to go again, was Michael.
Well-
So for everybody who's saying like, how could you do that to Michael? I talked to Michael ahead of time and I said, listen, man, if there's something you don't want me to talk about, let me know. And he said, no. He said, there's some things I can't answer, but nothing's off limits. He had a great time. I appreciate him coming on. I read the stuff that came up in the chats. Sorry if it bothered you, but I'm not going
Well-
to change. If I have John Dion, you want to say shit
Well,
to him or ask him
that's
awkward
why.
questions,
Well, I mean,
come to my show.
that's why you have chat moderators when you're streaming, and the chat
Mhm.
moderators are. I mean, the simple rule is if like two people are going at it and kind of derailing
Yeah.
things, like
That's what I
attacking
don't
each
like.
other.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's not your fault. You're hosting a show. That's not Michael's fault.
Yeah.
What should happen there is that they should just time out both parties. You don't take sides. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people pissed off at iircade right now, and they have every right to be pissed off. at
100%.
iircade.
100%.
Every single right to be pissed off at iircade.
Yeah.
They have every right to make 100 videos saying iircade sucks. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? There's a lot of people out there who are sad and disappointed and really enjoyed the platform. You know what I mean? And they should also be allowed to express that without, feeling like I can't share my opinion. You know what I mean? So it's tough. It was a hot thing. It was a hot topic, and it's not like it's going to be like that on every live stream that you do. You know what I mean?
No,
Not
of
every
course
not every live stream or do we have to talk about something like. I mean, it's probably one of the bigger moments in the home arcade community in the last 3 years.
It's the
is-
suckiest things that happened so
I mean,
far.
Imagine if, let's just say 6 months from now. Imagine if 6 months from now, Arcade OneUp shuts down.
It's possible. 100% possible.
We'd have a couple hot streams about it.
Yeah.
There'd be some people celebrating. There'd be some people, very sad.
Yeah.
It is what it is. So yeah.
So, anyways, I had a great time. I really enjoyed my interview with Michael last week. I think he's aces. He answered everything to the best of his ability. He was like super cool. I'm sorry if you guys felt like he was uncomfortable, but again, like I said, when we finished, he was the first person to say, like, man, you want to go again? So I didn't get that sense. And I tried to ask questions that were, tough and challenging because that's interesting. And it is an interesting time. Some people in the chat maybe asked some stuff that was tasteless and we tried to laugh it off. I mean, if you guys can't get that, I don't know what to tell you. One thing I will say, I ask people for help with this. One thing I don't like is that people fight with each other in my chat, and it's really hard to do this stuff and pay attention to the chat too. So I have asked some people for help with moderation. I saw some people here in the chat tonight. When I see you, I'm trying to add you as moderators. So, thank you for that. Zohar, I just made you a moderator for a joke because you said something about you not being able to not being able to super chat. So that's a one night thing, brother, just for a joke. Mystery Encoder with a super chat. Thank you. It was great. Michael S was cool. Thank you, Mike B. Thank you very much, Mystery Encoder. Always a nice guy.
Nice typo there, Mystery Encoder. I expect better.
Mystery Encoder is all right by me. Oh, we got a super sticker here from JR1322. Thank you very much. Yeah, there it is. See if I can bring it up. I don't know if it's going to show anything on Restream, but no, it's not going to come up on Restream. But thank you very much for the super sticker, brother.
Yeah.
I mean, I had fun. I don't know what else to say. I thought it was a good show. Probably one of my favorite times I've done Chill and Chat. I was very, very thankful that you backed out for some unknown reason, P-Dubs, and let me do that interview.
We couldn't figure it out. So we were like, well, should we just do it on my channel or do it on your channel? And then we came up with this stupid idea. We're like, we'll do an hour on my channel and then we'll send everyone over to your channel for the second hour. But then I was like, you know what? People hate mid-roll ads so much. Can you imagine if they had to go to another channel to watch part 2? They'd be so mad. You know what I mean? But anyway, so I ended up helping my son
to have
with his,
more mid-roll ads.
ended up helping my son with his like college work and stuff. So he's getting his.
You were just like, peace, I'm out, and I was like, okay, well, I'll
I was like, Mike, go have fun. I was like, go have fun. It was the double show would have been cool. But
would you have been comfortable handling the heat? Because there was a lot of heat.
Yeah, because there were a lot of questions that I wish were asked too. You know what I mean? Like I don't know why, but for some reason I really want to know what the hell was going on in Korea. You know what I mean? There's been a lot of information that's come out about Jong's activities in Korea, and I really would have pressed Michael about that. I would have been like, was the dude arrested?
No.
What the hell's going on?
Arrested. I asked that.
Why was he over there for a year? What was he working on for a year?
What I understand, he was over there.
You had to be in Korea to put together a mobile app?
No, that had nothing to do with it. But from what I understand, most of the investments that they were getting and securing were in Korea. That's why he was over there trying to get money.
I guess
that's what I was told.
It just seems odd.
It does seem odd. I mean,
Yeah. Anyway, but either way, at some point, everyone's got to move on. Like a month from now, if people are still talking about iircade and Jong, you got to ask yourself, why am I doing this to myself? You know what I mean?
I'm just going to be talking about real arcades. I'm a real arcade channel now.
Yeah. And pinball.
Yeah.
And pinball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, Console Kits is coming. Yes. And read this.
Oh, I hope he's putting on his Last Crusade shirt. Okay, well, we'll hang around for a couple of minutes, Justin, just to see if you're telling the truth or not. Do you think he's telling the truth, or do you think he's just busting out?
If he has a Last Crusade shirt, that would make all this so good. For bad spear screws for your new pinball machine. Congrats. Thanks, Jason M. It's an arcade machine, but thank you very much, brother, for a bad.
I think it meant bag.
Yeah,
a bag of spare screws.
Thanks, Jason M.
Yeah. So, Mike, have you learned how to take care of a pinball machine, like how to wax it, clean it, take everything apart, change the rubbers out?
I don't usually change my rubbers. I've been using the same one since I was 17.
That's why you have 2 kids.
He said
it was a joke. He was lying. He's not.
Yeah, I know. And no, that's part of the process. Like, I was talking to the guy tonight, and it was even like the arcade stuff. Like, I don't want to just buy it and then have it. That's part of the process. I'm going to learn how to manage it and take care of it. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, that's part of the hobby, right? You got to learn how to keep these things up and running.
Yeah, there's maintenance you have to do on your pinball machine, buddy. Don't worry, we could do a little call.
My pinball machine is brand new. I don't have to do that much maintenance yet. That's the beauty thing about buying a new machine.
Eventually, you got to take care of it, man.
Eventually.
Mike,
Do you think I'm
Mike,
not taking care of it?
I got 2 words for you: shaker motor. Think about what happened to the shaker motor.
Yeah, I still don't know what happened with that. I'm trying to get some help on that. But I think it's just, I think I bought the wrong kit. I bought a Stern Spike 2 kit, but I don't think it's the right one. I bought it from Pinball Medics, and there seems to be 2 different kits on Pinball Life you can buy. So I don't know what to say here.
Yeah.
The box just doesn't fit into the it was really tight. Didn't fit on there you go.
Well, I'm excited for you. And guys, I know a lot of you just watch Michael on YouTube videos. I have the distinct pleasure of talking to Michael daily off of YouTube. And I got to tell you, man, his excitement about this Tron and his first
So
real
excited.
arcade machine. It was like a little kid, like on Christmas. And it's infectious. You know what I mean? It's infectious. Because Mike is a true gamer. Mike loves games, and he loves these classic arcade games. And for Mike to finally have a real arcade machine, I am personally so happy for you.
What a fucking cool one to get first, right?
Tron's not a bad get, man. You know, and everything works on it, you know, now that it's plugged back in.
It wasn't not plugged in.
You didn't have it plugged in the wall, did you, Mike?
I did. Everything was plugged in. That wasn't the issue. Everything came on. I was getting a bad RAM error. It was just, it got jostled from the move.
Yeah.
So
I like what Jason M said. Is Robotron next for you, Mike?
Well, that's what I was telling the guy. I said to him, he was talking about pinball and arcades. He was like, all my years I've been doing this, I haven't found that one game that I said I have to keep. Like, I pick stuff up, I like it, but eventually I move it out for something else. I haven't found that one game. Yeah. And I said, with pinball so far, it's Godzilla, but that can change. And for arcades, the one thing that I would lose all sense of common sense with, if a real Robotron 2084 came up, not a Williams multicade, not a multi-Williams, not something else, a real Robotron 2084 dedicated, I would lose all sense for that. That's something that would never leave my house, ever.
Make it so, man. Make it so. The hunt begins.
The hunt begins. You don't understand how limited it is, P-dubs. This Tron was the first sensible arcade that's come up in 3 years.
Sensible. It's a sensibly priced arcade.
No, I don't mean sensibly priced. I mean sensible. Do you want me to show you the want ads of like the broken Atari, what is it, Arabian?
That's what happens when you live in Greenland, man.
I know it's where I
Iceland.
live.
You know? Like, move over to the mainland. You'll get your hands on more machines, dude. Get off that island.
Yeah. Anyways, I am tired.
Anyway, thanks for letting me come on, Mike. I always love talking with you. So
yeah,
appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm going to get some much needed sleep because I have not rested. My wife woke me up at 6 this morning. She goes, "Dog's got to go out." And I've been on the go since then.
Oh yeah. Well, go get some sleep, buddy.
I don't know. Maybe we could stay for another 2 hours. What do you think?
No, I can't. I already did a show earlier. I gotta go.
Anyways, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Home arcade is dead. Long live real arcades and real pinball. The revolution will be televised.
You're like RGT85, who's now an emulation channel.
He's not a Nintendo channel.
He's not a Nintendo channel anymore. Mike B is a real hardware channel now.
I'm so excited. Anyways, everybody, good night, everybody. Have a wonderful Monday. We'll see you throughout the rest of the week. I got some cool stuff coming up. I'm going to be doing a video on the Super Console X. PW, you have one of these?
Yeah, I did a video on that 2 years ago.
Yeah, I know. I like to keep current. Good night, everybody.